Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is October 16th, and right now we are looking at the combination of Doppler radars here across Pacific Northwest. You can see a nice moderate rainfall going on this morning across the regions. A frontal system is sweeping through the area. Backside of that front is already to the coastline here, so that's going to be wrapping up here in the next hour or two, bringing some gusty winds with it. But we're going to get that break, and then we're going to return the showery weather here across the region. You can see the thunderstorm line here on the green marker, and that's mainly across western Washington into southwest BC. We'll take a look at those details and the extended forecast as always as we go through the video today. You can see the frontal system moving over the Pacific Northwest here. You can see the cold air cumulus behind it off the coastline. It's going to bring the showery activity as we go through the day today. And then over the next few days, this atmospheric river is going to be pointed into western BC, especially targeting Vancouver Island as the rest of the Pacific Northwest tries to warm up pretty dramatically here as we go through the mid portion of this week. We'll also take a look at this, what's coming this weekend here as well. Looks like another system may start to arrive. This is that threat for some thunderstorms or risk for flash flood and debris flow over burn scar areas. Heads up for that, especially across the higher the terrain in the north and central Cascades as we go through the day today. And this is Seattle National Weather Service precipitation forecast, higher amounts across the Olympics here and some of the Cascades. And it's going to be some locally higher amounts with some of the shower activity moving across the area as well. Now, looking across the rest of the region here, we've got this increased wind that's going to be moving through the day today and in through tomorrow across places like Idaho and Montana. You're going to notice that westerly wind. Nothing too crazy, but you could get some gusts up towards 40 miles per hour. Kind of showing this in the Spokane National Weather Service as well. Gust to 35 as we get this wind shift here with the frontal system moving through as we speak. Look at Seattle yesterday, 63 degrees, 2 degrees above average, 0.04 of an inch of rain, and that's back-to-back days with 0.04 of an inch. We're going to add a bit more to that total here. And we've got a little bit of work to do to get towards that normal here for October. We're going to go through a few days of some dry period here before we start to bring some systems back in as we go through the weekend and next week. Now, looking at the NAM 3KM, this is what the Doppler radar may look like as we go through the day today. And this is about currents, the frontal system pushing through the area here. Get a little bit of a break here. It's early afternoon. Then we bring the stronger storms back into the region here. Lightning strike cannot be ruled out with some of these heavier showers. Some interesting convergent zone signature across Skagit and Whatcom County here as well. Convergent zone kind of lingers here across the north and central Cascades, potentially into the nighttime hours. And then look out across Vancouver Island. Just get bullseyed by this atmospheric river, and especially western BC too, the higher terrain, picking up some pretty good amounts. We'll get those totals here in a minute, but you can kind of see it just hanging out all the way through Wednesday afternoon. Pretty impressive signal there. Now looking at 700 millibars, 10,000 feet, you'll see the frontal system that's moving through as we speak today. Colder air aloft arrives for the thunderstorm potential, and then we start to build a ridge, but that atmospheric river is very close by western Washington, impacting western BC all the way on in through Wednesday afternoon. More on that here in a moment. And this is looking at the NAM 3KM total precipitation in inches. It's probably not picking up the precip that well across some of the Seattle metro. We may have already gotten that amount of rainfall, but you can see higher amounts across the coastal ranges here. And then some of the shower activity moves through this afternoon. You can kind of see those streaks moving across, maybe even the Seattle metro getting in the action there. But watch as we go on in through Tuesday morning and Wednesday. Look at some of the totals across Vancouver Island and western BC, especially the higher terrain. Some of the amounts showing up 8+ inches. I mean, in the NAM here, it's even 12+ inches here. But that would be very localized, but still a pretty strong signal there with the models showing this atmospheric river just pointed at and training over Vancouver Island in southwest BC. Now looking at the European total precipitation in inches, this is last night's run as well. There goes our frontal system, and then that atmospheric river really just bringing the hammer down on southwest BC and Vancouver Island as we go through the mid portion of the week coming up here. And then you can see the next system trying to get towards us as we go through the weekend coming up. But more on that here in a moment. Here's a precipitable water. This marks the frontal system going over us currently. Then we've got the showery activity moving in as we go through the afternoon and evening. And then this persistent atmospheric river, it's like a fire hose pointed right at BC here. Not bringing much precip to Seattle or Portland, but some big totals here, like I mentioned, across western British Columbia, especially the higher terrain before that finally starts to weaken as we go through the day Thursday. Now looking at convective available potential energy, known as CAPE. You'll hear me talking about this at times, and you can kind of see that instability moving up over the area as we go through the day today. That's our thunderstorm threat. That's the thunderstorm potential. And if we look at a sounding here, this tells you a lot about the atmosphere. So a little bit about the sounding here. I'll just explain things really quickly so we can get on with the forecast. But this is 500 millibars, about 18,000 feet. 700 millibars is about 10. 850 is about 5,000. Of course, you're at the surface here. You can kind of see that wedge of warmer air here we had this morning. Then this is for SeaTac across some of the Puget Sound and much of the region. And look at the cold front just wipe that away. Definitely cooling things down in the upper levels of the atmosphere. And you can see this red line starting to retreat to the left, which means the upper levels of the atmosphere continue to cool down as we go through this morning towards this afternoon. And then as we go through early afternoon, you can kind of see that convective available potential energy emerge there. And the CAPE is the measure of this area here between the path the parcel of air would take and the updraft and the actual temperature of the atmosphere here. So the more CAPE you have, the stronger the updraft, the heavier precipitation you have, the better chance for lightning strikes and whatnot. You can also tell a lot of things by a sounding, by looking at, you get the wind profile off to the right here as well, and a lot of other things we're not going to go into, but kind of a very nice tool for any one given point here. And this would be for SeaTac again, but you can kind of see that convective available potential energy because the upper levels of the atmosphere are cooling down. Now looking at the HERS, the 3km, this is composite reflectivity. You put this into motion, there goes our frontal system, and then some of these heavier showers as we go through the afternoon hour across the region. Some of these are going to be downright heavy across some of the higher terrain of the Cascades as we go through the afternoon here. Kind of convergent zone signature hanging on as we go through tonight across some of maybe Snohomish and Skagit County there, and it may sag south a little bit here as we go through the very early Tuesday morning hours. But then look out across Vancouver Island as that atmospheric river pointed right at Vancouver Island as we go through Tuesday night on in through Wednesday morning. Just a persistent feature showing up there. So pretty good model agreement on that. And as we speak right now, the winds are picking up, especially across some of Whidbey Island, some of the northwest waters here across the Puget Sound, the coastal areas, especially just offshore, getting some nice gusts here as well. And you can see the NAM3 cam actually painting some 50 plus mile per hour gusts across Whidbey Island here as we go through this morning. Again, this is ongoing right now. Could even get up towards the coastal regions, up towards Bellingham as well. So heads up for that. And this is probably, again, ongoing. So if you're watching this video up across this area, it's probably already gusting. It actually showed a 41 mile per hour gust for Seattle. I don't know if that will materialize here. But anyway, watch out for those gusty winds. Looking at things currently, check it out. Smith Island now, 51 miles per hour. So yeah, it's definitely picking up. You can see, what is this, Whidbey Island Naval Air Station up there, 39 miles per hour. So that has gale force wind there as well. And if we look out towards Destruction Island right off the coast, 46 miles per hour. If we look at Bellingham, let's see what they've been doing. 28. So the wind hasn't kicked up too much there just yet, but have a heads up for that across the northwest interior as we go through this morning. Now looking at the national blend of models here, this is for today. Tomorrow, we cool things out a little bit. We got that frontal system moving through, some colder air aloft around. But look, by the time we get towards Wednesday, we could get up towards 70 for Western Washington, some mid 70s for Western Oregon. And look at again Thursday, a very nice day, but there's going to be that cloud shield just to our north. So this could kind of interfere with some of the temperatures here, depending on just where that atmospheric river is going, especially on the day Wednesday. See much cooler temps across some of Western BC and especially the higher terrain. But then we start to cool things back down this weekend. And look what the beginning of next week is showing here. I mean, temperatures not even getting above some of the lower 50s for some areas here as we go through its next week. Some chilly upper level troughing showing up there, but kind of fantasy right now, but something definitely for us to watch. Now, looking at yesterday afternoon's European run, here goes our system and the colder air aloft moving over the region, but we've got this ridge starting to build here, but this atmospheric river will still be pointed into Vancouver Island and Western BC. Ridge kind of holds on here as we go towards the end of the week, but then the next system looks like it's going to arrive here as we go through the weekend, and then some chillier upper level troughs trying to drop down over the area. Kind of fantasy at this point, but definitely something for us to watch and kind of break down as we go over the next couple of days. This is last night's GFS. This is the 06Z run. Here goes our upper level low as we go through the day today. And we build this ridge across the area. And again, that atmospheric river will be ongoing during this time. So it's going to be an important cutoff there on that cloud shield. Ridge hangs on through the end of the week there. And then the GFS also showing some semblance of a system moving through this weekend with some interesting troughing digging down across the west coast of North America here. So definitely something for us to watch. You can see we do have some agreement in this trough developing here between the GFS and the European. So anyway, Yeah, enjoy that rainfall out there, and then watch out. Eyes on the sky this afternoon, especially Seattle North, Skagit, Whatcom County up there. Watch for those heavier showers rolling through the area today, and then we're going to be dealing with this atmospheric river. One thing I'm hoping with this atmospheric river that it will bring some warm, moist, stable flow to places like the Cascades of Washington, Oregon. Maybe we'll get a nice lenticular show off of Mount Rainier or Mount Hood here over the next few days, at least through the mid portion of this week upcoming here. So there's always something to watch weather-wise, and then we'll turn our eyes to next weekend and the following week, because it looks like we have some additional systems rolling on in through here. But yeah, anyway, watch out for that, you guys. Eyes on the sky today. So yeah, I hope you guys are liking these videos. Check out the California Weather Watch page if you would as well. Maybe I'll leave the link down below here. So California people, you're not being left out. You've got your complete own channel now here, but nothing is changing with the daily briefings. It's been business as usual is what you've been seeing the last few months. You'll continue to get here. So anyway, I hope you guys are liking the channel here. Leave some comments below, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow.